Hi, I'm James. Welcome. Anyway, this is Wonderwall. I'm kidding. I hope that you've kept well and safe during these times. I know, much like myself, a lot of people have had a lot more free time as of late. Back in March of this year, I made a collaborative video with other members from the blind community. We talked about how we're coping during this new normal. Since that time, things have only continued to escalate in many parts of the world. Some of the things beyond entertainment that we talked about was building new skills. If you stuck around for the entirety of that video, I had actually teased that I had gotten a guitar. Now, I'm not planning to do any kind of cover or original music anytime soon, especially for this channel. But one of the things I have been doing and keeping up with is doing guitar lessons online. Now, I don't know whether to call it self-taught or taught by YouTube, but even beyond learning guitar, I've also been just continuously trying to build up my skill sets around things such as video editing. Now, if you're anything like me, or you're even watching this video on YouTube, you probably go to YouTube as a resource to learn many new skills, or maybe to help you if your toilet is overflowing. That happened to me recently. As someone who grew up on YouTube, I watch a lot of content that's beyond the genre of content that I produce myself. And one of these was a lot of cover artists. I enjoy acoustic music, I enjoy acoustic renditions of many popular songs or just other takes on songs that you typically would hear. But as a filmmaker, I've never really had the time to learn, or I thought I didn't at least. I'll be honest, even back in the day, I used to play drums, and I stuck with that for quite a few years, but around my teen years, I got more involved with film production and video production and just wanting to do that as like my full-time thing, and still do to this day. But even during high school, I took an interest in guitar, having family members that had played it too. In fact, there was a time when I actually took up guitar lessons for about 2 to 3 months when I was 14 years old. So we're looking at nearly a decade ago. This was actually right after my vision had decreased back to being considered legally blind after a couple years of improving vision from an experimental surgery. During this time, I was trying to figure out if filmmaking is something that I could still even do, having decreased vision and not knowing if that was going to even be decreased even further. I think as I was figuring all this out, I did just decide to stick with filmmaking, continuing to do that, and I just kind of put the guitar down after a couple months because it does take a lot to get into it. In fact, I've kind of relived that experience of trying to get back into the guitar. Much like any new skill, there is a beginning process. You have to adjust, whether it's your body or for me, it's like my hands and my fingers. You know, I'm typically very super sensitive to touch, right? But I've been having to literally destroy the tips of my fingers on my left hand to be able to play chords and to get back into the guitar. I guess any hope of me finally learning Braille and reading a book, that's maybe I can still do my right hand. Who knows? Obviously, it's not the safest time to have a guitar teacher come to my house or visit them to learn the guitar, and that very much defeats the purpose of social distancing. So what have I been doing to learn guitar again? Well, besides a few resources, YouTube has been one of those go-to resources for me. With over 300 hours of video content being uploaded to YouTube every minute, there's just such a wealth of knowledgeable and quality content on this platform. And it's free. I guess even thinking about it now, my channel is an educational channel. I like to be a little goofy and snarky at times and share the blind experience, but I do try to bring awareness in an educational fashion about things such as the universal benefits of accessibility. Beyond my visual impairment and preferring a hands-on learning experience, there are other barriers that I have been facing when trying to learn things through YouTube. For example, while trying to learn guitar or do tutorials for video editing, I come across a very poor user experience. And this is by no means YouTube or the guitar manufacturer or even Apple's fault, for instance. I use a Mac, so I'm learning off of my 27-inch iMac behind me. But having my visual impairment, I need to zoom in. I need to magnify the screen about 300 times if I want to find the controls for YouTube. And even beyond that, if I was using a screen reader like VoiceOver, for example, that narrates everything on the screen of the computer, well, even then I still have to reach over and use the keyboard in order to control my computer. As great as the platform is, I can imagine it can be a bit of a barrier when you are trying to learn hands-on how to play guitar or how to edit video, and you're working off of another machine or flipping through a different program, just to go back to the video player and have to hit pause or play or go back 30 seconds or re-listen or loop something or even slow it down cognitively to process what's being said. But imagine trying to do that with a visual impairment and trying to zoom in and do different gestures to make the video controls even accessible in the first place. It almost discouraged me to just stop, to put down the guitar and just be like, all right, well, that was a fun attempt. Luckily, I came into contact with this company called Utility Design, and they actually make a product that makes this whole process of learning something and actually practicing it through YouTube a lot easier and, in fact, just overall accessible. So Utility Design makes this product called Vidami, and Vidami is a USB device that plugs into your computer, and it's a foot-controlled remote pedal-like device. It's called Vidami. It's got 5 buttons on it that can be activated just from tapping it with your foot. On the top of the device, it has 2 buttons, speed and loop. Speed will let you control the playback speed, so maybe you can slow things down, speed them up, just depending on what portion of the video you're at or how you need to cognitively process the video itself to learn. And if there's a certain sequence within the video, for example, for me, if I'm trying to learn the specific chords that are being presented in this song that I'm trying to learn, maybe I want to loop that portion just so I can kind of go over and practice just the chords without having to continuously rewind. Underneath those 2 buttons, you have 3 buttons. From left to right, it's going to be back, play, pause, and forward. These controls are great if you just need to go back and rehear something, or maybe you want to push forward into the video and get over all the subscribe and like this video and let's smash, all that fluff. It's just been super nice to be able to keep my hands off the keyboard and mouse in order to, go through that tutorial or that process and just keep it on the guitar or learn a new workflow or feature within Final Cut Pro. It's actually super easy and accessible to set up the Vidami. All you have to do is plug it in via USB 2.0 or 3.0 or an adapter if your computer no longer has USB 3.0 like myself. Once it's plugged in, just ignore any kind of pop-up that asks, would you like to turn this into a keyboard? And go into Google Chrome or Safari as of now, and you can get an extension that allows it to just work with the YouTube player natively. Once your Vidami is registered, all you have to do is just get that extension and you're ready to go. It's plug in and play. And honestly, since using it, I really just can't go back to the old ways because once again, that almost discouraged me to give up on the guitar and other new skills just because it was not an accessible workflow for me, and I can't imagine, even as someone who's maybe able-bodied, it being a fun process to have to play, pause, and go through with a keyboard where you could just be doing it with your foot, and it's just a very simple device to learn and use. There's really almost no learning curve to it. It's just knowing the placements of each button and tapping away. If you're interested in picking up the Vidami for yourself for the next 2 weeks of this video going live, you can use coupon code JamesWrath10 at checkout to save 10% off your order. Follow the affiliate link in the description. Once again, I'm just super grateful I came across this company at the right time because I'm still kicking away at the guitar. Here we are 3-4 months later, and it's been really fun and such an enjoyable experience and better than ever because of this device. If you are interested in picking up the Vidami, there will be a link in the description of this video. Honestly, if you have the extra time to try and learn new skills and you've been trying to do it and just want to learn something like piano, guitar, violin, like whether it's a musical instrument or even just trying to learn things such as cooking or video editing or how to get that toilet unclogged, because that was fun. But really, I would not be talking about this product if it really did not work for me, and it's just made consuming tutorials a lot more enjoyable and accessible for me. I would like to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. Have you been trying to brush up on an old skill that maybe you put down for a bit, or maybe even just learning something new during this time when we're staying at home? And once again, if you think the Vidami will be helpful for you, there's a link in the description to check it out. If you click on that link in particular, it will let them know that I sent you. I hope in the very near future to maybe showcase my guitar journey a little bit more in depth. I'm just not quite ready to serenade you all, so we'll get there. We will definitely get there. Thanks to the Vidami. I hope that you could see something different today, or just see different today in general. I will hear you next time.